I've always said that I wanted to be remembered as a player that didn't waste a moment, didn't waste a day. And I felt extremely blessed by the God-given talent. But at the same time, I didn't take it for granted at all. The most important thing for me is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but if you live your life to just get better every single day, and do that for 20 years, what do you have? Like my kids at 2 could do a lot of things. Right? At 2, I could dribble a basketball, I could shoot a basketball on the Nerf hoop at the house, and I would go to practice with my father. I would observe my father. I'd sit and watch games with him. And
Was he your first coach?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. A lot of things I learned by being around the game. Right? So by the age of 6, I was already strategizing versus other 6-year-olds. My brain cannot process failure. It will not process failure. Because if I sit there and have to face myself and tell myself, you're a failure, I think that's almost worse than death. At 13 years old, I played the longer game because my game wasn't about being better than you at 13. It was to be better than you when the chips are really on the line. So when we played at 13, I would size you up and see what your strengths and weaknesses are. How do you approach the game? Are you silly about it? Are you goofy about it? Are you good at it just because you're bigger and stronger than everybody else? Right? Or is there actually thought and skill that you put into it? Right? And when I'd play to my weaknesses. I wouldn't play to my strengths. I played to my weaknesses. Because when you're playing summer basketball, there's so many games. So there's not a lot of skill work being done. So when are you going to get better? Right? When you're playing in competition situations, you're only playing to your strengths. Why? Because you want to win. Right? So what I would do, I was work on the things during those games that I was weak at. Left hand, pull-up jump shot, post game. Right? So I have a strategy. And so then fast forward to when I'm 17 and my game is completely well-rounded, and that player at 13 that I saw at 13 is still doing the same shit at 17, now you got a problem.
What was really your work ethic like, and for how long did you stay disciplined?
Well, every day. Since for 20 years. It was an everyday process, and trying to figure out strengths and weaknesses. For example, jumping ability. My vertical was a 40, it wasn't a 46 or a 45. My hands are big, but they're not massive. Right? So you got to figure out ways to strengthen them, so your hands are strong enough to be able to palm a ball and do the things that you need to do. Quickness, I was quick, but not insanely quick. I was fast, but not ridiculously fast, right? So I had to...
What y'all got going on, man? To all the people that don't know me, man, my name is Casper. I'm a social media content creator or influencer, man. This is my free game channel. I'm gonna be on here teaching y'all about life and teaching y'all a lot about things that I wish people would have taught me when I was younger, or even things that I wish people would have told me right now. And as I learn, I'm gonna teach y'all everything I learned, because I feel like it's a lot of information that people not putting on the internet. And the whole point of me calling this my free game channel is because I want to give y'all all the game and all the tools y'all gonna need in order to be successful in life, because I feel like it's a lot of people that hold information that could change people's lives. Like, money's not getting printed every day, and like it's not enough money out here for everybody, bro. So my biggest thing with this channel is going to be like building a different type of platform for myself, but also creating a platform where I can help and uplift other people and put people in a position where they could do the same things that I'm doing, bro. Because I remember it was a time where I would wake up every day and I wanted to be who I am right now, or I wanted to do the shit that I was doing right now, and I didn't know how to get to where I'm at, bro. It's sad to say a lot of content creators is making content and showing y'all the lifestyle that they live, but they not showing y'all how they got to where they at, bro. The title of this video is titled Don't Give Up. And the reason why I'm telling y'all, if y'all watching this right now, to don't give up, is because I'm a person that used to give up a lot of times, bro. Who would have known that when I very first started, bro, I was putting in a lot of work and I gave up 1,000 times, not knowing that if I would have kept going, I would have got to the position where I'm at a lot quicker. So to the people that don't know how old I am, I'm 23, bro. I got into content creation probably around like the end of me being 21, and I started getting a little bit of traction at the time that I was 22. But it's crazy to say that I could have been doing the same thing that I was doing now and living my dream lifestyle and living my dream at a younger age if I would have just realized it's no limits to what you can do and it's no age cap. You don't need to put a certain age on when you could do this shit or when you could have this shit. If you could envision that shit for yourself, if you could see it for yourself, it's possible, bro. Go chase it. So back to the don't give up portion. Man, I would give up 1,000 times not knowing that next step I might take might be the step to change my life, bro. And I think that's what a lot of y'all are not realizing. Like, I was going to work every day, stacking my bread up, and I remember when I had very first quit my job and I started wanting to be a content creator and get into content creation. I didn't know how I was gonna do it. I didn't know how I was gonna make money, but there was so many people doing this shit and it was a lifestyle I seen for myself, and I took a leap of faith and jumped out there. And I feel like any person that sees something for themselves, if you want that shit, take that leap of faith and jump out there too, because you don't know what's gonna happen until you get out there. I can remember when, I'm gonna just give y'all a couple stories. I started off and I very first got into content creation. I probably had like saved up probably like a decent amount of money for my job, put it like that, bro. Enough amount of money for me to try to like do content. And I remember I went and bought this apartment, bro. I was living in an apartment. I wasn't making no money, but I had enough money to be able to afford the apartment at the time. So I bought me a little penthouse, bro, and I very first started doing my YouTube videos. I remember I bought my ZL1 and I was driving the car and I ain't have no plans or no type of idea of how this shit was gonna turn into what it is right now, but I just took a leap of faith, bro. I sat in that apartment, bro, and for months, bro, I sat on my couch every day thinking of how I was gonna make enough money to pay my bills and pay the note I had on that car, and I didn't know what I was gonna do, bro, but I kept going. I kept going. If I would've gave up, to think that if I would've gave up, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Rely on skill a lot more. I had to rely on angles a lot more. I had to study the game a lot more. And but I enjoyed it though. So like from the time I can remember when I started watching the game, I studied the game and it just never changed.
We were playing against the Lakers, Tom, and we were out here in LA. You know, look, I always try to outwork people, right? That's just how I made my mark. So the game was at 7. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come to the Staples Center because we're playing. This is when the Lakers had Kobe and Shaq. Okay, this is like the championship Lakers. I was like, you know, I'm gonna get there at 3 o'clock, and I want to make sure I make 400 made shots before I go back into the room, and then I sit in the sauna and I get ready for the game. So, you know, get in the car, get to the gym, get there, and as I'm walking onto the court, who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant, already working out. So once I set my foot across that line, I started working out. And so I worked out for a good hour and a half. And when I came off, after I was done, I sat down, and of course I still heard the ball bouncing. I looked down, I'm like, this guy's still working out. He was working out for like, it looks like he was in a dead sweat when I got here. And he's still going. And it's not like his moves are nonchalant or lazy. He's doing like game moves, you know? I sit there and I unlace my shoes. I'm like, I want to see how long this goes. So I sit out there and watch, 25 minutes. And he got done. I said, okay, I think I've seen enough. Go play, you know, come back, get in the sauna, get ready for the game. That game, he drops 40 on us, okay? And after the game is over, I'm like, I have to ask this guy. Like, I have to understand, like, why he works like that. Right. So after the game is over, I'm like, hey, Kobe, like, why were you in the gym for so long? He's like, because I saw you come in. And I wanted you to know that it doesn't matter how hard you work, that I'm willing to work harder than you.
You know, basketball for me was the most important thing. So everything I saw, whether it was TV shows, whether it was books I read, people I talked to, everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft. You have to do the hard stuff and watch that game and study that game to not make those mistakes over and over again just because you weren't brave enough to face it. You gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with it. Face it, learn from it. And all those little things, and it sucks. But you don't want to have that feeling again, do you? Right? So you gotta really study it, face it. And not to say you'll win the next time you face it, but at least you'll give yourself a better chance.
Yeah. So when you think about the greatest players of all time, 90-80% of them have God gift of natural talent, ability, body, right? So Jordan, 48-inch vertical, right? You got the big hands, right?
Fact.
You got LeBron, right? You have Shaquille O'Neal, right? Then Magic, 6'9" point guard with vision. Kobe, standard. If I give you 6'6" and then took every 6'6" guard in the NBA and NBA history, you would never find him, right? You would never find Kobe because he didn't have big hands, right?
Right now, I wouldn't be talking to y'all. I wouldn't be able to show y'all none of the stuff I'm showing y'all. And to think that if I would have gave up, bro, I might be right back at the job I was working that I was tired of being at, right back in a fast food spot, or right back working a 9 to 5, bro. And man, it's crazy to say, like, when you really focus and you lock in and maximize your potential and you just understand that anything is possible, bro, just keep going, bro. And whatever you want for yourself, bro, it might not happen overnight, but trust the process, bro, and things will start working out in your favor. I was waking up every day, I was making videos, some videos would blow up, some wouldn't, and I wasn't making no money off of social media content, but it's crazy to say that I had got to a breaking point. I can remember I was sitting in that penthouse, looking outside, I had my nice view and all this different shit, I had my car downstairs, and from the outside, everybody thought shit was good, but man, I was going broke in that crib, bro, and I didn't know how this shit was gonna work out. And man, I tell y'all folks all the time, bro, do what you want to do. You get what I'm saying? You only got one life to live, so live it to the fullest and don't live life with no regrets, bro. And also make sure you make smart decisions, bro. Like, I could say the decisions I made, if I would have known that you didn't have to show your life, like, I didn't have to have that car in that crib to blow up, bro. I didn't blow up off of having a penthouse and having a ZL1. I blew up off of making motivational speeches and just talking to people on the internet and showing people that a person that's in a position can do anything. And that's what blew me up, bro. Just being genuine and making genuine content, bro. You don't gotta have all these fancy cars and shit, bro. You can make content and you could have nothing right now, bro, and you could literally change your whole life just from making videos, bro. Just be confident in yourself and do this shit every day and make this shit a job for yourself. And if you do that shit the right way, bro, eventually shit gonna work out in your favor. I'm telling you, like, man, I had no type of plan. I had no sense of direction. I ain't have no coach. I ain't have no mentor. I ain't have nobody telling me nothing. And I woke up every day and I just did this shit. And I knew that, like, I seen something for myself, and I couldn't let nobody tell me nothing different, bro. My grandparents didn't even picture this shit working out. Like, when I very first quit my job, bro, and I told them I wanted to be a content creator, bro, folks looked at me dumb as hell because they never seen nobody making money off the internet, so they didn't understand that shit. And sometimes people not gonna understand your vision, but that's why you gotta have faith in yourself, bro. People might try to talk you out of what you doing and shit, and if you let people talk you out of what you doing, bro, man, people might fuck up your destiny. So really just, like, if you see something for yourself, chase that shit, bro. Do that shit for yourself and don't live life for nobody else, bro, because when you leave this earth, bro, the only person you should have been living for is you. So remember that. Man, I was dead ass quitting my job, sitting on that couch every day trying to think of how I was gonna make the bread, bro. The bread was not coming in and I was just making content every day. And I remember I had got to a point to where the bills was getting to the point to where that was kind of like piling up. I ain't had the money to pay for shit, bro, and I sat on that couch, bro, and I made a video called 30 minutes of free game or something like that, bro. 20 minutes of free game. And I remember when I had posted that video, bro, this is why I tell a lot of people don't give up. When I posted that video at the time, man, I was posting videos driving my car, going shopping, spending hella bread and shit, just doing a bunch of dumb shit, bro. And I was trying to blow up off of the lifestyle I was living, but who would have known that this video of me being at my lowest point, this video of me just being like vulnerable, really telling folks what I got going on for real. And you get what I'm saying? I ain't telling you that this what you gotta do. You ain't gotta get on the internet and be vulnerable, but what I'm trying to tell you is when I reached my lowest point and was ready to give up, bro, I kept making content regardless of how I felt and regardless of what I had going on, and it's the same piece of content that ended up changing my life. My biggest video to this day is that free game video, bro. And
He wasn't quick, he wasn't fast. 38-inch vertical, that's standard. Like, if you don't have a 30-inch vertical, you're not even a shooting guard in today's game, right? And what he did with that body, it's like you took a S500 and he was pushing it like a Bugatti. That's what we look at. We look at the normal person fighting gods.
Yes. There's a quote from one of my English teachers at Woodbury named Mr. Fisk. He had a great quote that said, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." And that's something I always live by. I'm not going to rest. I'm going to keep on pushing now. There are a lot of answers that I don't have, even questions that I don't have. But I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going, and I'll figure these things out as we go, right? And you just continue to build that way. So I try to live by that all the time.
You're playing against the Golden State Warriors, score is 107-109. You guys are close to getting into the playoffs. You're about to take your shot, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Falls down. Again, he's struggling.
He's at the line to shoot free throws, so he can't be taken out of the game right now.
Right after you were injured, you went on Facebook and you posted a lengthy blog. This is such BS. All the training and sacrifice just flew out the window with one step that I've done millions of times. The frustration is unbearable. The anger is rage. Why the hell did this happen? Makes no damn sense. Now I'm supposed to come back from this and be the same player or better at 35? How in the world am I supposed to do that? I have no clue. Maybe I should break out the rocking chair and reminisce on the career that was. Maybe this is how my book ends. Maybe Father Time has defeated me. Then again, maybe not. There are far greater issues and challenges in the world than a torn Achilles. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Find the silver lining and get to work with the same belief, same drive, and same conviction as ever. One day, the beginning of a new career journey will commence. Today is not that day. If you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear.
I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for.
At what age did that goal become crystal clear?
I made that deal with myself at 13 years old.
At 13 years old?
13 years old. That's the
You were
deal I
crystal
made.
clear about it.
Crystal clear.
And where did inspiration come from?
The love of the game. The love of the game, the challenge. Like I would watch Magic play, I'd watch Michael play, and I would see them do these unbelievable things, and I'd say, you know, can I get to that level? I don't know, but let's find out. Let's find out. And so that curiosity to see where I could push this thing led me down that path, I think.
We were in Vegas for the start of training camp, and we were getting ready for the Olympics in Beijing. We're going to head to Beijing. And I wanted to establish myself as a young leader on the team by waking up bright and early, day one. So the goal was to be the first one at breakfast. So I set my alarm. I make sure I'm up by sunrise. I get out of bed. I put on my gear and I head downstairs. But when I get there, Kobe's already there with ice packs on his knees, drenched in sweat. Now, it took me a minute to figure it.
I was sitting on that couch, bro. I had no haircut. I was dusty. Car was barely paid for. And I just told people what I really had going on. And I told people, like, life is not what it seems, bro. From the outside, you might have all this good shit going on, but people still have problems every day, bro. And I tell people, regardless of what your problems are, bro, just keep moving. Like, you didn't go through all the shit that you went through. You didn't fucking go through all them obstacles just to give up. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get the reward, bro. You gotta keep chasing what's at the end of the goddamn rainbow or whatever you goddamn you looking for. Like, keep going towards that goal, bro, and don't let nobody tell you nothing different. So I kept making them videos. I kept making my videos, bro. I told y'all the bills was piling up. I remember, man, that free game video flopped, bro. That 20 minutes of free game video probably did like 2K views, but for some reason, something in my brain told me don't delete this shit, and that's the reason why I tell y'all folks, don't be scared to put content out there. Don't be scared to post that video. That idea that you holding in the back of your head, twin, it might be an idea that might change your life, bro. That thing that you've been wanting to do, bro, whether you want to be a NASCAR driver, bro, you want to make music, whatever idea you got in your head, whatever you see for yourself, do that shit, because the one thing that holds people back, bro, and I heard this shit from a person with millions of dollars, bro, the hardest thing to do is starting, nigga. And a lot of people will stop you from starting something, bro. Do what you want to do, bro. Start that shit and don't procrastinate, bro. Once you start it, bro, just stay in that shit. Keep going at it, bro. And whatever you want to be is possible for yourself. You go to the studio every day and you rap, bro. Eventually, bro, it might be a producer that walk in the studio, bro. It might be Zaytoven, or it might be fucking Gucci Man, or maybe you making music every day and you post a song yourself and it goes viral on social media or whatever the case may be. But you putting in that grind and that work every day, bro. Eventually, you're gonna set yourself up to be in a position where you get your time to shine, bro. All you gotta do is keep working, keep grinding, and don't give up, bro. And eventually, you gonna get your chance, bro, because when you going hard and you keep on going at something, bro, eventually, bro, I promise you, whatever you believe in, a higher power, God, whatever it is, bro, they are going to set you up to be in the right spot at the right time, and you gonna change your life, bro. I was making that video on my fucking couch, bro. It flopped that month, bro. I stayed down though, bro. I could have went back to my mom and Duke's crib. I could have sold the car. I could have did all types of different shit, bro. I had waited, bro, and that very next month, I remember I woke up one day, I was stuck at 8K subs on my main channel, bro, and I was like, damn, like, I had been posting every day. I've been consistent as hell. I'm like, why the f can I crack the algorithm? And this is why I tell you, don't give up. Imagine if I would have gave up and I never posted that video that I posted. Imagine if I would have gave up and said, damn, bro, this shit not working. This shit not meant for me, bro, and I would have stopped posting content, bro. I posted that video that flopped, and that very next month, I was stuck at 8K subs for the longest. I woke up and then, bro, I had like 10K subs. I had gained 2K subs out of nowhere. I'm like, what the f? I go look at the post, bro. I kid you not. I couldn't figure out where the followers is coming from. I get to scrolling through my other videos and shit, bro. That video that had flopped, that free game video that had been stuck at 2K views for a month, randomly hit 10K views. Randomly hit 15K views, randomly hit 20K views, and I was gaining subs out the ass, bro. And it's crazy to say that shit really broke my face on the internet. People start clipping that video, and I started gaining followers across all different platforms, bro. And I didn't blow up for having a fucking nice crib or having a nice car, bro. I blew up for talking some real shit, being dusty as fuck on my couch. So what I want y'all supposed to understand is, bro, you ain't gotta have all this different shit that you think you gotta have, bro. Just be genuine, be yourself, bro. Be original, bro, and somebody will see you and you'll reach your target audience, bro, and whatever you want for yourself can happen, bro. And all I can say is, bro, I remember I was almost gonna give up, bro, and that shit finally started working out.
But this guy wasn't only awake before me. He had already worked out. He had just played in the finals days earlier. Meanwhile, I'd been off for months and I was still exhausted. What he had done that morning was incomprehensible to me. That dedication he had only days after falling short of an NBA championship. That taught me something I've never forgotten. Legends aren't defined by their successes. They're defined by how they bounce back from their failures.
Doubt is such a strange thing. I mean, it's, there'll be times where you succeed and there are times that you fail. So wasting your time doubting whether you're going to be successful or not is pointless. It is. And you just put one foot in front of the other. You control what you can't control. And then you see what the outcome is. Right? If you win, great. You're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey over again. If you lose, it sucks. But you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey all over again anyway.
Those times when you get up early and you work hard. Those times when you stay up late and you work hard. Those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. If you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.
I think the greatest fear that we face is ourselves, actually. I think it's not anything that's external or anything that's superficial. I think the greatest fear you face is yourself, because we all have dreams, and it's very scary sometimes to accept the dream that you have. And it's scarier still to say, okay, I want that. It's scary because you're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself, right? So being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself. If your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train, right? You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 11, right? 12, say 12, train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8, right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions. Right, now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? You relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4, right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger.
Bro, I was making enough money to pay my bills, bro. I was able to keep living in that crib, bro, and I was posting YouTube videos like a month. It was going crazy. And then I remember right before I'm where I'm at now, bro, I since then I got a better crib. I got 2 cars now, bro. I remember it had got to the point to where life had hit a low point again, bro. Like, shit's not always gonna be easy, bro. And even when shit's not easy, bro, you didn't get to where you at to just give up. You get what I'm saying? I just told y'all I went from working a fucking job at Zaxby's and shit and flipping chicken tenders and working at a barbecue spot. So, nigga, when I had got to the point of having a ZL1 and having that crib, why would I give that shit up to go back to where I came from? Keep going hard and make that shit work. You get what I'm saying? And I made that shit work. I got a new crib. I got 2 cars, and I ended up getting to a point where I was stressed out again, bro, because I had a lot of stuff that I had to take care of at the time, bro. Like, I was finally in a position where I could take care of my family, and I was finally in a position where I could take care of people other than just myself, and I took on a lot of responsibility, bro. What I can tell y'all folks is, bro, don't take care of nobody until you can take care of yourself, because people will act like you owe them, and you don't owe nothing to nobody but yourself. You get what I'm saying? So if your family with you for real, they not gonna make you do nothing unless you capable of doing it. You get what I'm saying? So don't go broke behind trying to support people if you can't support yourself. I took on the responsibility of trying to take care of my family early on before I hit $1 million, and that's where I kind of set myself up to be in a hole, because I hadn't even put myself on. How the fuck I'm gonna put other people on? But long story short, it's cool because it ended up working out. I was paying other people bills, doing a lot of different shit, bro. Still had my crib and my 2 cars, bro, and I remember I had hit a low point again. Man, the ZL1 fuck around and get crashed, bro. I was like, damn, bro. That was the car that was making a lot of money for me with content at the time. It was my everyday car, shit like that. And at this point, I ain't got nothing left but the crib. I was ready to give up again, bro, because it's like, shit, I'm in a hole now, bro. I'm having to pay for the car. I'm having to pay for my crib. I'm still taking care of my family and their bills and shit. And then I remember, I was like, damn, what the fuck am I going to do? And I'm like, shit, I'm going to just do what I did the first time, lock in and keep going. When I had crashed the ZL1, it was December last year, bro. I just kept posting. I stayed locked in, bro. During Vlogmas, I was telling myself, what the fuck am I gonna do? Because my car is my only way of getting around. That's how I make my vlogs. How the hell am I gonna do Vlogmas? How am I gonna do 30 days straight of posting and keeping people entertained if I ain't got nothing to show people? But then I had to think about it. You blew up without the car and without the crib. So what the fuck do you need the car and the crib for? You blew up without it, nigga. Keep going. I kept on going, bro, and I kid you not, bro. That month, I did 30 days straight of posting, and I had gained like 50,000 subs, bro. I had gained like 100K followers on Instagram, bro. My TikTok started blowing up. People was clipping my videos like crazy, bro. And I remember I was able to afford to buy another car. I went and bought my vet, bro. I kept pushing. I just kept going, bro. And things just kept working out for me. And what I can say is, bro, you're going to hit low points all the time, but life is kind of like a roller coaster, bro. When you reach them lowest points and you hit the bottom, it's nowhere to go but up, my nigga. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize, gang. When you reach a point to where you ain't got nowhere to go, you think it's no opportunity for you, or it's nothing left. There's no reason to keep going. You keep going. You want to know why? Because when you at the bottom, gang, the only thing you can see is the top, bro. And I think the thing you should do is, bro, not get stuck where you at, not get stuck and get stuck looking at the problem, but think about the possibilities of what would happen if you keep going, bro. I keep going every time shit get hard, and I promise you, bro, eventually, bro, I end up finding something to get